Hi, Becky here. Just to let you know, there are no story spoilers in this review, so if you haven't played Deathloop yet, you are all safe to proceed. Hello and welcome to another mini episode review from the One Up Pod. It's Becky here with Andy.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking about Deathloop.
8 targets on my list, every one of them with grand plans for eternal life. To break the loop, I gotta break the rules. Clock's ticking.
And you just ran out of time. You keep forgetting, Colt. I'm not like those other idiots. Only got one name on my list. Yours.
So Deathloop is a 2021 action-adventure game developed by favourites of the podcast, Arcane Studios, and published by Bethesda. It came out on September the 14th, and Andy has been gleefully playing it and rubbing it in my face that I don't have a PS5 yet. So
I wouldn't say gleefully. But...
it's been fairly gleeful.
Oh, Chip, maybe.
Yeah.
But
there's been elements of glee, shall we say that?
I think that's just a residual effect of just having a PS5. You just can't help but be a bit gleeful.
Yeah, well, I like
Especially...
my PS4.
Yeah.
So
for
there.
now.
So in Deathloop, you take on the role of Colt, who is an assassin stuck in a time loop. And in order to break it, you have to take out 8 visionaries, targets for your assassination, and you have until midnight. Leaving one alive resets the time loop, and you have to do it all over again. So Andy, initial thoughts?
Well, first of all, I just want to say this is a fucking video game. This is just what I want. Especially after dragging myself through 12 minutes last time. I'm just over fucking joyed to be talking about a time loop based video game that's actually smart and fun and absolutely lacking in incest.
We're off to a great start already.
It's just a great day all over, really.
I don't know where to take it after that.
Yeah. So yeah, feel like I'll start talking about the world and like the missions sort of thing.
Yeah. Because
that's something that like Arcane are like very renowned for, their world design and their mission structure, and that seems like the easiest way in to talk about this game before getting to what is unique about it.
Yeah, because so Andy very kindly sent me some gameplay footage because I didn't get a chance to play it, having not got a PS5 yet. Did I mention that? But yeah, the world built, like the world around it, I mean, bits of it reminded me of Dunwall from the Dishonored games, but there was lots of like terrain and stuff that looked quite new.
Yeah, it's got that kind of vibe about the Dunwall vibe. It's like very wide open spaces that for you to explore, and you've got a lot of options for traversal. Like you can scale cliffs quite comfortably, or like climb over rooftops, and you can basically decide how you want to get there in your own way. And the really cool thing is because the game is split into 4 sections of the day. Each time of day has a different vibe to it. Like certain times of day the island freezes over, so there'll be like parts of the island that like you can access because like the water surrounding the island's frozen a little bit. So like you've got new areas, and some areas are like closed off later in the day because another character's somewhere else. So like it gives you a lot of options to like explore this island in like 4 completely unique ways and like spend a lot of time trying to learn their secrets. It's a really impressive piece of design work because it's asking you to spend a lot of time in the same locations over and over and over again, which is obviously part of the point because you're trapped in an endless loop.
Yeah, but it still needs to be fresh enough that every loop you find something different.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. The way the mission structures, they're not quite missions, but like you've got options for things to do, like different objectives each section of the island and each time of day, and you can just select something like maybe you're just going to collect intel, or you're going to kill one of the visionaries to like access their slabs, which are like the superpowers that you possess and you can start using in your own way. And also if you can you can kill them over and over again and like get new upgrades for each slab you get, or you might just want to investigate ways to kill them later in the game, or like maybe find a way to lure a character away from a certain area into another area so you can attack like more targets at once, because obviously you've only got certain time, like you've got a set time in the day to like deal with these people, and the way it's laid out initially is you can't get to them all in one day. You've got to start to like strategize and work out their secrets and where they might be different parts of the day and try and like make it all come together in like a perfect plan.
So you got to do a big think.
You've got to do a real big think. It's and the thing with keeping the island fresh, it really is like just always interesting to explore, because there's some parts of the island have this like nice art deco feel, like kind of like exaggerated like just crazy architecture, and there's other parts that have more like a brutalist vibe, so there's a lot of like clashing of styles and different like mindsets. This gives the island a very strong identity, but also those clashing elements kind of make things feel a little off kilter, which helps with the whole vibe of like being trapped in like a nightmare that's never ending.
It's funny you should mention the art deco stuff actually, because one of the notes I wrote down from the gameplay footage was that it feels a bit Bioshocky in places, like a couple of the sound effects and the kind of mood in a couple of the clips that you sent me. I think it's one of the security measures, I think. There's like green flashing lasers.
Yes,
that made a noise that reminded me of the security bots in Bioshock.
Yeah, you can hack those things, and like it's a little simpler in Bioshock, but the hacking element of security, that's all there. And
yeah.
Like everything Arcane's done really like has been building from what Bioshock did.
Oh, 100%.
Like Dishonored felt very much like it was an evolution of the Bioshock style. You could mix the powers up and open things up a bit, and this feels like another continuation of that evolution. It brings, so like if you've played a Dishonored game, then you get the general gist of how it's going to play, and it's like a Bioshock game but with hitman elements.
Many hitmen.
There's so many. The amount of times you have to kill people in this game is very much hitmen. It's like so like the loops allow you to like take each playthrough in like a unique way. Like maybe one loop you're just going to get intel, one loop you're going to kill people, or one loop you're just going to gather resources to help you in a future loop. Unlike like Dishonored, there is a very clear two-way approach to every situation. Where Dishonored felt very like geared towards the stealth. Like if you messed up a stealth run on Dishonored, it was very much like a pretty steep like challenge suddenly kicking in, because you're very much just mostly doing like melee combat. Whereas with Deathloop, they've really refined their first-person combat style. So like the gunplay feels really slick, like the weapons feel weighty and responsive, especially like with the DualSense haptic feedback. That's like really impressive. Like when a gun jams up, if you've got like an old style gun, some of them jam up and the triggers like lock, so you can't use them until you've unjammed the gun.
Oh, that's so clever.
And the guns, like each gun has a different feel, so the controller like vibrates differently depending on the gun. There's like a real rattling feel when you're firing a machine gun. There's like a heavy pulse in your hands when you're blasting a shotgun. It's stuff like that just really helps like immerse you in the action, and it's always fun action, like especially when you get to incorporate your superpowers, because some of the superpowers are really handy. You've got one that like links more, like it starts off with 2, but you can enhance the number of targets, but it mind links like NPCs, and if you kill one of them, the other one drops dead.
Ooh.
And there's like other things where like you can launch people in the air, like, and then just shoot them like they're a clay pigeon.
Full?
Yeah. You get like add-ons for that, and you can do different things with that as well. Like you just launch them in the air or slam them to the ground. Like there's a lot of ways to customize each power, and that the stealth runs are just as good as in Dishonored. You've got a wide range of paths to take, like of different altitudes and stuff. Maybe you want to sneak through the streets, like you have to use your invisibility power, or maybe you want to like jump across the rooftops to get to some place, so you can use the shift power. Like some of these are very similar to Dishonored powers, but like if it's not broke, don't fix it. Really. They fit. They fit in the world perfectly, so it doesn't feel jarring. It's not like doing something like this, like with Bioshock Infinite when they used the superpowers in that. It didn't quite fit that world, but it was a part of the game, so it had to be in there. But whereas with Deathloop, it feels very in line with this like super science gone mad sort of hellhole that you're trapped in. And
sounds very cool.
And not just the powers, you've got like character enhancements, like things like maybe you can hack faster, or you've got a double jump, or like you take less damage, and like things like that you collect. And you also collect enhancements for your guns. There's a lot of customization that you can tinker around with to like make each go around the island like feel unique.
And presumably you keep everything when the loop resets. Like you don't have to go back out and get stuff again.
That's one interesting thing about the thing.
Ooh.
You do, it's kind of like a roguelike initially. When you die, you do lose everything you've got, but you have to unlock this power called infusion. And once you've got that, you can start fusing powers or items to your, so it remains with you when you loop back. But to do that, you have to collect a resource called residium, and you do that either by finding just random objects that are glowing on the island, killing visionaries. The visionaries are your targets, obviously. So if you kill them, they give off, like, they leave like an aura and that you can absorb. If you kill Juliana, the hitman that's hunting you down, like she drops residium as well. There's also, when you go to the next stage and you're sorting out your loadout for the next part of the game, you can sacrifice weapons or powers or items, and that will give you some residium if you need to fuse something specific that you want to keep for the next go around. So you have to, it creates like a strategy when you're like going between games, having what you're going to sacrifice, what you need to keep. It makes you think a lot about like, what are the odds of me coming across this power again anytime soon? Should I keep this? But this gun's really handy. Should I use this? And you have to like work out. Sometimes you do have to make a choice between one thing or the other. Sometimes you get lucky and you can maybe fuse 2 or 3 things, but it does create a strategy in the way you deal with your loadout each time.
That's interesting. That's really interesting, because it's that element of refreshing the loop every time. So you may not have the firepower to be able to do what you did previously, but you can adopt a different way of doing it. It's a very clever way of structuring a loop.
Yeah, it definitely like keeps things interesting, because you'll have a really good run and you'll have a really cool loadout of guns you've picked up and maybe a power you've got, but then the next time you're going to lose some of that stuff, and you have to think about what you're going to do next. And are you going to be able to track down a weapon like that again, or are you going to try and find something different, or are you just going to try and make do with the weapons you've got? And you start to work out like combinations of weapons and powers that are going to work for you on a certain run. I got very good at like hacking things quickly, picking up a turret, taking it to a room, dropping it while I'm invisible, running out and letting the turret take care of people.
You sneaky fucker.
Yeah, I very much snack like when I'm playing this. A lot of my run was very snack, but like it was nice not having the stress of, if I messed up a stealth run, being punished for it, which is something
so
I felt
no
Dishonored did. Yeah, something I felt Dishonored did. It punished you a bit if you if you mess up your stealth. The early Hitman games were the same way. It's very stressful to like mess up a stealth run, whereas with this, the action's so fun. It just feels like you're just transitioning into a different style of game, but it's equally fun and equally rewarding, and you just have to like you just roll with it. It's flows so smoothly, and that's another thing. Like the way, because of the PlayStation 5's SSD drives, the game just flows really nicely. Like when you die, it's almost instantaneous. You restart the game. Like there's a brief moment where it connects you to a server, but otherwise the game's like you just jump in between times. Like it's just a constant it's a constant loop, but it just feels really smooth, and it's something I don't think you could get away with on like anything other than a PlayStation 5 or next gen console. I can't see this game working as well on a PlayStation 4. Like losing the graphical, like, because it's a really polished game. If you've played an arcade game, Arcane even game, you know what they look like. They're using the same engine, so the character designs are very similar. The level designs have the same kind of level of polish. It all looks really nice, and it's the nicest that it's ever looked. But it's the pace that really makes this game stand out for me. It's like it moves really nicely. Like you never feel like you're sitting around waiting for something to happen. And the fact that the game is like split up into 4 parts like of the day, it's a really nice way of like you get to choose how much of the game you're going to play. You don't feel like you're investing in like a long haul when you start the game. You could pick it up and play for like 10 minutes and feel like you've done something. Like you find like a nice piece of intel that you can use later on, and you can put the game down, walk away, and you still feel like you've done something. Or you can spend like a good couple of hours playing the game and like just blasting through things, getting your like armory up, building up all your powers, it's like you play it your way, very much the same way like when you're doing a run through a level, you're getting to choose how you want to play it. Like it all just comes together really nicely. There's such a nice sense of freedom to how you can play the game.
Which, considering you're trapped in a time loop, is quite something to achieve, really.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with how I never got fed up of doing something. Even like seeing the same, I'd go back to the same setting like a lot, and I'd never get fed up of it because I'd just try. Maybe I'll go this way instead. Maybe I'll go this way. Oh, I've got this. I'm using this power today. I'll use that. Or like investigate like a corner, overhear a conversation, find something out new, find a location that I can't get to that time of day. So I like leave and go back later in the day, or maybe loop all the way back to morning and try again. It's really something for like it just feels like a sandbox, like in every possible way.
Very cool.
And there's another really cool element of the game that it's really grabbed me. It's the multiplayer component.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting you to troll Chip like completely when this happens.
Yeah, this is why I kept pestering him to buy it, and he won't. So like if anyone doesn't know, like the multiplayer component is there's two options when you start the game. You can break the loop or protect the loop. If you break the loop, you're playing as Colt, so you're just doing your standard thing. If you choose to break and protect the loop, you're playing as Juliana, and you can jump into either a friend's game if they're playing, or you can just wait around and jump into a random person's game. And so basically then, but as Colt, when you're playing, you're just like moving around, suddenly you get an alert saying Juliana is in the game or something like that, and then all the exits shut down, and there's a antenna that you have to go and hack so you can unlock the doors, and that's generally where the person playing Juliana is hiding, waiting to like ambush you. Or maybe she's bold and she's got a lot of powers and she's going to come and hunt you down. It's a really, like, I've played it both ways, and it's really fun playing as Juliana. You get like a really cool power where you can swap identities with an NPC. So like if someone's coming in, if the person who's playing Colt spots like a Juliana starts firing at them and they're distracted, you just look like a random like NPC bullet sponge, and you just like pick them off while they're busy with the Juliana that they think they are killing. The more you play the game, like you start gaining points because you have to do like objectives for each time you play Juliana. You gain points, you level up, you get new weapons, you get new powers, things like that. So it encourages replayability just the same way as playing Colt does. It's a lot of fun, and I'm not that good at killing Colt, but I've done a few really good ones. I'm also not very good at killing Julianas, to be honest.
But you're going to practice, and then I'll get the game eventually, and you'll take me out, and it'll be a nightmare. Yeah,
the second one of you guys buys this game, I'm reinstalling it, and I'm just going to sit perched waiting for one of you to come online.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, though. It's a really fun component in the game. If you're offline, it just has an AI like Juliana coming after you, but it comes a lot more frequently, and it's a lot more easy to predict. I like the unpredictability that another player brings to your game.
Yes.
Because they might set up a bunch of traps around like an area that you want to get to, or maybe they're going to just park themselves on a rooftop waiting for you to come and unlock the antenna, or maybe they've got a good idea of where you're going to be at that time of day, because sometimes the time of day it's very obvious what the cult is going to be doing, so you can just head towards there and just cause chaos, because all the NPCs will leave you alone. So it's just like you can just add extra carnage to what that poor bastard is going through at the time. It's a lot of fun. It really adds a lot of unpredictability to like how you play the game, and the connection between Colt and Juliana as characters, because I haven't really got a chance to talk about the characters. I'm not going to say any story spoilers, because the whole fun of the game is discovering it at your own pace. Like you in your own order as well. You can do things your way basically, but the connection between Colt and Juliana is really fun. Like at the start of every section, you'll get a call from Juliana. She'll be like pestering you, making fun of you if the person playing Juliana had killed you earlier in the game. Like, because these two characters remember everything, and so like if you kill Juliana in the game, like you start trying to make fun of her, but she's always like kind of one step ahead. Like, or maybe she just cuts you off before you get to do your joke. The performances are really fun. That's the big thing about this story. It's just fun. It doesn't feel very heady or like self-important. It knows the concept is kind of big and weird and silly. So the way, if I was going to do like a movie comparison to the tone or the energy that this has, it's a lot closer to like a Lord and Miller take than like a Chris Nolan take.
That works for me.
It's not winking at the audience, it's not treating the concept like a joke, but it's very aware that they should be having fun with it
Yeah.
and not being like not taking it too seriously. There's a lot of jokes, there's a lot of weirdness to it. It's a yeah, I can't give away any of the big surprises or the weird little Easter eggs or treats you can see in the game, but just discovering it all at your own time, it's just always fun. It never got dull. I just blasted through the game over like a week and a half, like a half a week maybe.
Yeah, it did not take you long from all the updates we were getting.
I just got really into it. Like, it's not very often, like, because I don't have a lot of free time because of work, but I made as much time as I could for this game. And like, even when I didn't have a lot of, if I had like a half hour to play a game, I always felt like I was making progress. So I never felt like I was just treading water. It was constantly forward momentum. I can't say enough good things about the game.
It makes such a change from recording 12 minutes with you and feeling myself slowly die throughout the whole review.
I just felt so much more energized about this one. I just thought, I can't wait to talk about this. There's loads of stuff I want to say that's good about this game, and I don't have to mention anything about incest or make fun of the acting or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell as well how animated you are about it. I'm very jealous that you have played it and completed it already. I'm
on another run through as well because there was a bunch of weapons that I never got. I watched after I'd played the game, I watched like the launch trailer, which is really cool, and it's got this awesome like soundtrack to it. The music in the game is also brilliant, and they've got like the music that they use. It's like Bond themes done properly. Like modern Bond doesn't seem to do Bond themes this well, which is really weird because this game's like bizarre high concept sci-fi nonsense, but it's still doing Bond better than Bond. But yeah, so I watched that trailer and I saw like a bunch of guns, and I was like, holy shit, that gun looks awesome. Like, what? I never even saw that gun in action, so I decided I wanted to go back. And there was a bunch of powers I never got to use because I really settled into my stealth boy run, the Snack Master. So I was like, I just have to play this game again because it's just so much fun. It does reset your progress for Colt, but it doesn't reset the progress for Juliana because like Juliana's, no matter what happens with Colt, like Juliana's still in the loop sort of thing. So it's kind of like a smart way of keeping your progress for one thing. Like it'd be really daft to like reset the progress for the multiplayer component, but it was a really smart like little choice. It's just it's a game that I'm already on, like, well, not well on my way, but I'm making progress on my second run already. And I'm still having a lot of fun and like trying new things, following new leads, things like that. It's just like Arcane are like the masters of this style of gameplay now. The freedom, like the just offering unlimited, but it feels like unlimited choice. Because there's a lot of there's not a lot of systems in place, and there's not a lot of things you can do, but they can all interlink in different ways. So it always feels like you've got a lot of customization in the way you can approach things. It has taken the seeds of what BioShock started and grown it into something new and more experimental. It's given more freedom to the player. This is what I like about games. I like having the freedom. That's why I always like open world games. I like being able to do what I want to do, and this is absolutely exemplified by Deathloop. It's just like an unparalleled amount of choice in a first-person shooter, and it's like not restricted to one strategy. It's not like Doom, you have to play it one way. Call of Duty, you have to hide behind a waist-high wall all the time. Deathloop is a much more fluid approach to gameplay, and it's Arcane's best game to date as far as I'm concerned, and it's currently my game of the year.
Bold words.
Yep. If you there's not a lot of year left, so it's going to be very surprising if anything beats this. So if you have a PlayStation 5, get this game. If you're a PlayStation fanboy who won't play it just because it's now owned by like an Xbox studio, just grow the fuck up. Stop denying yourself the joy for the sake of a meaningless brand loyalty, you daffy cunts. Just buy this game. It's brilliant. It's 10 out of 10, A+, 2 thumbs up to the point where you're getting muscle pain. Just must buy. Just get it. It's brilliant.
I think we can safely say that Andy is recommending Deathloop.
just a little bit, yeah. When it's on sale, maybe. No, buy it now, Chip. I know you're going to listen to this. Buy it now. Everybody, tweet Chip and tell him to buy Deathloop.
Yeah. I'll just watch from the sidelines and be very entertained.
Yeah, and then when you get a PlayStation 5, I'm going to be telling you to buy Deathloop straight away. So
I'm going to buy Deathloop straight away. It's pretty much a given at this point.
Good.
Cool. Okay, so Deathloop, a one-up pod recommendation. Thanks for listening to another of our mini reviews. As ever, feedback is welcome. Please like, rate, subscribe, leave us a review, preferably 5 stars, all of the above on your podcaster of choice. It really helps us out. And in the meantime, get a life, play video games.